Danger, danger, no danger. Danger, danger. Like, am I really going to be taking instructions from a lizard? Hey guys, right now I'm at Will's and I'm just here in the living room. You guys can see, like, I'm at a desk and I'm just editing right now, and I kind of wanted to create more content in terms of just like vlogs and talking. I do a lot of formal videos where I'm usually like against like a clean backdrop and I'm talking and I'm like, hey there my Cobras, 10 tips for blah 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 blah. And I just thought, wouldn't it be nice if I just had like other footage? Like, if I'm going to be, you know, a full-time YouTuber, like if I'm actually gonna make my dreams come true, I need to embody that more. So I decided to kind of create a little bit more, like, I guess, like B-roll that isn't just always me walking in the forest being a forest fairy, but just kind of like the real, the raw behind the scenes of what like goes on in my life, because I don't think I'm that forward with you guys. I'm very reserved. I try my best not to talk about my personal stuff, but I mean, I don't have to share my personal stuff to kind of show you guys like the behind the scenes of what goes on in my life. Like, why not that, right? So I guess just like a little life update. Recently this month, if you guys have seen on my social media, which is at Mignon Cobra, I've actually moved out from my mom's, and that's a really big thing because I initially came from the place of where I thought that I needed to be home to be there for my mom, or that like we could work on our relationship. We've never really had like the best working relationship, and that takes a lot of courage for me to be able to say that. But I think after 6 months, it kind of got to the point where I had to make that decision for myself, and I had a lot of fear and a lot of guilt and a lot of anxiety around that, because I felt like on the one hand I really want to be there for my mom, but on the other hand I just felt like isn't really working out, and I felt like I kept putting my life on pause. And I just think that at the end of the day, as much as my mom loves me, as much as my mom, you know, wants me to be around, I don't think that's what she would want for me. I really do think that my mom would want for me to live a life that I feel very happy and satisfied with. So yeah, a lot of things, it was like a lot of small little things that ended up bringing me to the conclusion that I think it was healthiest for both parties to move on. Obviously, I'm not gonna go into too much depth about my relationship with my mom here on this channel. I don't know. I know that a lot of people do feel really comfortable talking about that, and I totally respect that. I even admire that. But I just feel like because it involves a second party, like my mom, I just can't really bring myself to discuss that on the internet. I think that maybe, and I did make notes on it, I would like to discuss like letting go of close family and friends, because that's, I think, something that's a bit taboo, and it's something that usually people don't really want to talk about or even do, and like that was something that was really difficult for me. So I will be making a video on that, which is like letting go close family and friends. I've actually let go of a lot of close family and friends in recent months since coming back, and that is something that I have mentioned like and talked about, like loneliness. But I think I'm definitely going to be making a video on like thriving in loneliness. I spent a lot of time alone in these past couple months, and I've actually found I grew a lot in that loneliness, and I really wanted to make a video on like how to thrive in that loneliness, because some of you guys have mentioned that you could relate to that. So I think that if it helped me, could definitely help somebody else out. I know I made some recent videos, it's like come pack lightly with me and I get rid of everything. I know those are a little bit more clickbaity, but like, I'm gonna be honest, sometimes as a content creator, I do feel a lot of pressure to make the views, get the watch time, get the clicks, because at the end of the day, as much as I want to say that, like, yes, it really truly does come from a creative place, and I do feel primarily for me it does, because I do have a lot of like financial cushion, but I'm not sure, sometimes those numbers sometimes do have a little bit of influence, at least for myself, and that's something that I'm working on, is like not letting myself get too influenced by it. But sometimes I do tend to think sometimes on a more marketing level, like, okay, how could I make my thumbnail, or what title could I make that'll generate more clicks, more views, more income? Because I guess I do think that although it's great to be creative and it's great to be an artist, if I can't feed myself at the end of the day, then that's the end of me as a content creator. Like, then it just returns to being a hobby. And I just really do believe in like the law of abundance, the law of manifestation, that I can have everything that I want. I really do think that I can have a creative channel and I can generate income. So the point of what I wanted to say was that yes, although that video, I didn't really declutter like a lot and I didn't get rid of everything, but you know, with moving, I thought it would be, you know, a good insight to kind of see what it's like to move and to let go of things in that moving process. Because as you guys know, I've always advocated for being a responsible minimalist. When you declutter, you should really be thoughtful and intentional, and especially from like a responsible financial perspective, you really shouldn't be throwing out your stuff, especially if later you're gonna have to repurchase it. Like, I don't see the point in terms of doing something like that for the sake of philosophy. As you guys know, I used to be an extreme minimalist, and now I would consider myself more of a practical minimalist, because I did live that. I really did did try to be extreme in my philosophy, just chuck. And honestly, the end result was not a good result. So I'm not saying don't be an extreme minimalist. I definitely respect everybody's journey. I mean, that is something that I had done too. But I'm just bringing forth to the table somebody who passed through that and just some of the lessons that I had learned. So the point of that video was like, I got rid of everything, was obviously not to advocate for you to go and chuck your stuff, but it was actually more of like from a marketing perspective. So I really do hope that no one took that video very seriously. It's just at the end of the day, and I have mentioned this with like, is social media a lie? Content creators are entertainers. So you have to look at social media with a critical eye and understand and take what is applicable to you and not for things that don't. I've mentioned like in my PR package video, you know, as happy as I am that I have received a PR package, I wouldn't want it to be at the cost of my message telling you guys now, yeah, go buy this product. Like, makes no sense. Of course I advocate, like if this product resonates with you, yeah, for sure, go for it. But if it doesn't, always use a critical mind. And if it's not for you, they're just tools at the end of the day. If the tool works for you, use it. And if it doesn't, then just let it be. Okay, I'm trying to like just kind of like recap with you guys, because I don't think I ever really recap with you guys. I have made a ton of videos like top tips, and I've just never had the time to just like sit down and talk with you guys. I just feel like these kind of videos don't really give value to anybody. But the feedback that I got on the video where I talked about like my loneliness and, you know, get ready with me and that video, I feel like maybe I can afford to be a little bit more vulnerable with you guys and just kind of share what I'm going through, because I feel like at the end of the day, if I'm going through these things, I don't think that I'm alone. I think other people could also benefit from this, that we all have hard days. And I've been trying my best to kind of implement decluttering negative thoughts, because I've kind of realized, and that's something that I've recently been going on. I've been going on like a spiritual journey, and I no longer declutter my material possessions. I have enough material possessions. Like I have a good substantial amount where I'm comfortable. And I've been doing this for 6 years that I have no interest in decluttering my stuff. So I actually have the space now to declutter the negative paradigms that I have in my mind. And I'm definitely going to make a video on this. I think I'm going to be making a lot more videos on like decluttering negative thoughts, negative ideas, negative paradigms, because I almost feel like that has been the biggest benefit of minimalism. I mean, yeah, it's great to have less stuff, but like that's still in a material plane. My productivity has really increased, and my self-esteem and my self-worth has really shifted now that I put a lot more emphasis on like, how would you call it? I put a lot more emphasis now on like what's in my mind. I've noticed that I sometimes, and kind of this is perfectly fine, we all have this. I was actually watching a video by Lynette, and she was talking about the lizard brain, which is like our mind on a biological level to survive. This lizard brain is always generating negative thoughts, but it isn't negative thoughts. In its mind, it thinks it's generating protective thoughts, like bring attention or awareness to things that could go possibly wrong to protect you, right? So understanding that has helped me a lot in thinking that, oh, I'm having negative thoughts, but that's just like my brain's biology. It's a defense mechanism. And that's kind of like calmed me down, because for a really long time, I wondered if maybe I was depressed. I was like, how could I constantly be generating negative thoughts nonstop all the time? But understanding that it's actually like a defense mechanism has helped me a lot. So when I have a negative thought, I just think, oh, it's just the lizard brain. It's just like the fire alarm going off. Like you go outside and you come back in. It's not a big deal. You don't actually act and behave as if it truly was a fire. So that's helped me a lot. Another thing that's also really helped me a lot in terms of like understanding the lizard brain is this idea, and I started watching more of these like law of abundance type of videos, is that the mind and my mind are actually two identities. I know it's like a very weird concept, and I'm not going to do a very good job of explaining this, but it's helped me a lot, because I used to relate with my thoughts. I thought that my mind was my thoughts, or that what came from my mind was coming from me, but it's actually not. Everyone has the mind. So this is like the biological function of your brain, which just randomly generates thoughts. And then you have your mind or my mind, which takes those thoughts and then turns it into reality. So once I realized that my brain is just doing it on a biological level, I no longer have to associate or relate to the thoughts that come out of my mind. And that has definitely helped a lot, because I was almost in some ways always acting upon the thoughts that came out, and of course they were all just negative thoughts, and I just felt like really frustrated, because I was like, where are these thoughts coming from? Like I feel like I'm a really positive person, I feel like I have like a good underlying paradigm, but here these thoughts were, and I just kept feeling worse that I was having these type of thoughts. But actually realizing that these thoughts are just the mind, not my mind, and I don't have to relate with them, I feel a lot more peace and happiness just knowing that, like, oh, it's just thoughts. It's just thoughts, which is interesting, because that's actually a Zen principle that I had already learned, that like our thoughts become reality, and thoughts are just thoughts. Like just think of them as clouds in the sky. But I think I was looking at the super, like the more like the overarching thoughts, but like the more like deeper thoughts, I guess like what people refer to as the paradigm, those thoughts really disturbed me. Those thoughts were the ones where I was like, why do I keep having these reoccurring thoughts that just drag me down. And I guess people would refer to as emotional baggage. I just keep going back and thinking about and thinking like, oh man, like should have done this, should have done that, like I'm so dumb, like how could I have done this, why did I say that? Those type of thoughts were the ones that really bugged me, because I was like, am I the only one who thinks these things? Like, should I get on medication? Like, am I bipolar? Am I depressed? But once I realized that that's just like my brain doing its thing, but it's not actually like me, I just felt so much better, because then I started to write down and focus and appreciate and accept only my positive thoughts, which were like, yeah, like Nat, you got this, your YouTube channel's banging, like work's coming in, like you're becoming an independent woman, like all of these like positive thoughts. All of a sudden, those were the thoughts that I started to listen to and just totally disregard and pay no attention to the lizard brain. I'm just like, what does the lizard brain know? The lizard brain it's just a circuitry. It's just a computer program that's just run on autopilot. Danger, danger, no danger. Danger, danger. Like, am I really going to be taking instructions from a lizard? That's just kind of where I'm at, and it's helped a lot. My productivity has gone up a lot. I do carry around this little book where I'm able to like clock in what I do on like a 40-minute block, and it's really helped a lot. I write everything down. I have a lot more paper and clutter, which has helped me a lot, because it's kind of like emptying out my mind's cup. Instead of it being up here, it's like down on paper, and that has just helped me out so much, tremendously, because that baggage up here in your mind is so heavy. It drags you down, and honestly, life's hard enough. Like, do we really need to be doing that to ourselves? This was a good like little check-in with you guys. If you want to know more behind the scenes and like my thoughts, you guys can check out my Patreon. I'm really appreciative of having Patreons. I've been watching a lot of YouTubers that I'm quite surprised talk about like at such high counts. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna start a Patreon. I was like, wow, I'm not even 1,000. I have Patreons, like, so I'm like super blessed. So if you guys want to join my Patreonage, if that's a word, I would definitely be showing you guys lots of love and lots of gratitude, because I just feel blessed. Like little old me, the Cobra's nest. We have Patreons. Yeah. Enough rambling, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.